everyone, it's Karen from Highland Falls Library. Welcome to our first online story time. Now, can anyone guess from the clues up here what book we might be reading today? If you know, raise your hand. Now, if you were thinking The Rainbow Fish, you're correct. Today we're going to be reading The Rainbow Fish by Marcus Pfister, published by North South Books. And let's give them a big thank you for giving us permission to read and record the book online. The Rainbow Fish. A long way out in the deep blue sea, there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. Let's get a closer look. Wow, he is a beautiful fish. Look at all the colors. The other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him Rainbow Fish. "Come on, Rainbow Fish," they would call. "Come and play with us." But the Rainbow Fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. One day, a little blue fish followed after him. "Rainbow Fish," he called, "wait for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. They are so wonderful, and you have so many." "You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are?" cried the Rainbow Fish. "Get away from me." Shocked, the little blue fish swam away. He was so upset, he told all his friends what had happened. From then on, no one would have anything to do with the Rainbow Fish. They turned away when he swam by. What good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them? Now he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. One day he poured out his troubles to the starfish. "I really am beautiful. Why doesn't anybody like me?" "I can't answer that for you," said the starfish. "But if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave, you will find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help you." The Rainbow Fish found the cave. It was very dark inside, and he couldn't see anything. Then suddenly, two eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged from the darkness. You want to take a closer look? It's pretty dark in there, huh? Can you see him? "I have been waiting for you," said the octopus with a deep voice. "The waves have told me your story. This is my advice. Give a glittering scale to each of the other fish. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the sea, but you will discover how to be happy." "I can't," the Rainbow Fish started to say, but the octopus had already disappeared into a dark cloud of ink. "Give away my scales, my beautiful shining scales. Never! How could I ever be happy without them? Suddenly, he felt the light touch of a fin. The little blue fish was back. Rainbow fish, please don't be angry. I just want one little scale. The rainbow fish wavered. Only one very, very small shimmery scale, he thought. Well, maybe I wouldn't miss just one. Carefully, the rainbow fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. Thank you very much, the little blue fish bubbled playfully as he tucked the shiny scale in among his blue ones. A rather peculiar feeling came over the rainbow fish. For a long time, he watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water. The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scale flashing, so it didn't take long before the rainbow fish was surrounded by the other fish. Everyone wanted a glittering scale. The rainbow fish shared his scales left and right, and the more he gave away, the more delighted he became. When the water around him filled with glimmering scales, he at last felt at home among the other fish. Finally, the rainbow fish had only one shiny scale left. His most prized possessions had been given away, yet he was very happy. Come on, rainbow fish, they called. Come and play with us. Here I come, said the rainbow fish, and happy as a splash, he swam off to join his friends. The end. Now it's time for craft time. Who wants to make their own cool rainbow fish? Well, I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can make one, depending on what supplies you have around the house. We're going to make one out of a paper plate and one from a piece of paper. Now here are the materials that you're going to need for your rainbow fish. You can either use a paper plate or just plain white paper, whatever you have around the house, or you could even use a colored piece of paper. And you're going to need a pencil or a pen so you can draw in the eyes and a mouth, and a pair of scissors. And you're also going to need some colored paper, but if you don't have colored paper, you can just find some scrap paper that have designs on it or different colors, or just a white piece of paper, and you could draw and color your own scales. Or you could even use tissue paper. And for the special shimmery, shiny scale, you can use aluminum foil if you have that around the house, probably in the kitchen. And we're also going to need either Scotch tape and or stick glue. So once you have that all together, we can begin. Now let's make the outline of the fish. If you're using a paper plate, all you do is cut a triangle piece out, and that'll be the area for the mouth. And the piece that you cut off, you're going to flip that over to the other side, tape it on or glue it on, and that'll be the tail. And I drew in the eye, and I drew a semicircle just to separate where the scales are going to be. Now if you're going to draw your own fish, you can make one like this and cut it out. Or you can make a different kind of shape. This one's kind of like a round blowfish. Or you can make any shape fish, any size you want. And for both, I just drew in the eye, the mouth, and you can be as creative as you want. So now that's the outline of our fish. And let's get ready to make the scales. Now let's cut some rectangles. After you cut them out using whichever paper that you have, the colored paper, paper with designs from scrap paper, tin foil, tissue paper, or paper that you just colored different colors. So once you make those rectangles, you're going to cut the rectangles in half. And once you're done with those, we are going to shape the rectangles into what looks like fingertips. And those are going to be the scales. And just remember, you can be creative. If you want to shape them a little different, you can. You can make them pointy like triangles or whatever comes to mind. Time to glue on the scales. You're going to want to find the straight part of the scales that you cut. And you're going to use stick glue, liquid glue, or even Scotch tape. But we want it just towards the edge of the straight part of the scale. And then we're going to glue that along the line that I made. That's going to be kind of your border there. And you could alternate with whatever scales that you want. And once you're done, that's your first row. We're going to move on to the second row of scales. Same thing, you're going to just glue a little bit just on the straight edge of the scales. And now we're going to go in between the scales for the second row. And just going to kind of tuck it in there halfway. And then you move on and just again in between. I'll do a close-up. See how we go in between these two scales? Just tuck it in there. And you just keep doing that until you finish that row. And then you move on to the next row until you get all the way to the tail. Once you're done with all the scales, you can add any finishing touches that you'd like. You could color the fish in, and you can do that coloring before you put on the scales also. That might be a little easier. You can add a little shimmer to the tail and the fin. And I did that with tin foil. You can color the mouth. So many different things you can do in being creative. And Highland Falls Library would love it if you shared your photo of your fish with us. And you could even be in the picture too. Me a photo of your rainbow fish. I'll post it on our website, Instagram, and Facebook. And I'll even put your name. And if you want to be in the picture, we can do that also. So thank you, everyone, and we hope to see you again soon for Storytime Online.